Where did Domino's come from? Well, this is the story of how a poor boy who literally had nothing but his hunger, both figuratively and literally, built one of the world's largest pizza chains. You know the story of the tortoise and the hare? Well, this is the story of the hare who won. The boy who had nothing but hunger? Meet our hero, a 16-year-old kid. Why does the story start here? Because, unlike most stories, this one didn't start with riches, or even a silver spoon. No, it started with scraping by, making ends meet. His family moved from place to place, never staying put for too long. So he knew what it meant to be hungry, not just in the tummy, but in the soul. He wanted more than what life had dealt him. He wasn't a bookworm, he wasn't an athlete, he wasn't the cool guy. But what he lacked in popularity, he made up for in gumption. He was the kind of guy who took odd jobs, the ones most people overlooked or underestimated. He shined shoes, mowed lawns, did odd chores. And all the while, he carried a quiet fire within him. He saved every penny, dreaming of a day when he could use it to do something that mattered. A chance encounter. It's the early 1960s, and Michigan is like any other state. Teenagers hang out at soda fountains, cruise around in their cars, and weekends are made for sock hops. One such teenager was our hero. He was your typical high schooler, except his mind was always a few steps ahead. While his peers saw dead-end jobs, he saw opportunity. One day, while delivering papers, he comes across a pizza store. Now, this wasn't any ordinary pizza store. Oh no, this was a store that was about to go under. The owner was ready to throw in the towel, and that's when our hero's eyes lit up, saw a chance to make something out of nothing. But it wasn't going to be easy. He was just a kid. To buy this failing business, he needed money. Lots of money. But instead of quitting, he hatches a plan. He approaches the owner and strikes a deal. In exchange for some cash, he'll buy the store and give the owner a cut of the profits. The owner, skeptical but desperate, agrees. And that's how our hero, the broke teenager, took his first step towards building an empire. Burning the boats, he was all in. Put everything on the line, his savings, his car, even the clothes on his back. Hit a fire in his belly that wouldn't let him quit, not until he made it work. But the road ahead was tougher than he imagined. He poured everything into the store, working day and night, 7 days a week. He delivered pizzas himself, took orders, cleaned tables, did everything. But still, it wasn't enough. He slept in the store, not by choice, but because he couldn't afford rent. He missed his own bed, his own home, the simple luxuries most teenagers take for granted. There were days when he wasn't sure if he'd make it. Days when the bank threatened to take the store away. Days when he considered giving up, but he didn't. Something inside him, that same fire that started it all, kept him going. A game changer. Things were bleak, to say the least. He was in debt, sleep-deprived, and close to losing everything. But amidst the chaos, he had a brainwave. He realized that while everyone else was focused on making their pizzas better, he could beat them at their own game, delivery. He introduced something revolutionary, fast delivery. It didn't matter if the pizza wasn't the fanciest or the cheapest. If he could deliver it faster than anyone else, he would win. This meant streamlining the process, cutting out unnecessary steps, and training his team to be the best delivery force in town. It was a risk, a big risk. He was already on the edge, but he had nothing left to lose. He went all in on this delivery-focused model and waited. At first, it was tough, really tough. People were creatures of habit, and changing that habit for a pizza was a challenge. But slowly, very slowly, things started to turn around. People noticed the speed. They appreciated the consistency. And before he knew it, word of mouth started doing its magic. More customers meant more money, which meant he could expand, which meant more jobs, which meant more money. Setbacks that could have ended it all. You'd think this is where the fairy tale begins, right? Wrong. Our hero had more hurdles to jump over than an Olympic show jumper. In 1978, his biggest fear came true. Domino's filed for bankruptcy. The economy was shaky, and with it, his dreams seemed to crumble. But like the phoenix, he rose from the ashes. He paid off his debts, reorganized, and came back stronger than ever. Then in 1984, a lawsuit threatened to shut him down, he fought it. He didn't have much to lose, but this time it wasn't just his dream on the line. It was his reputation, his livelihood, his legacy. And finally, in 1997, he suffered the ultimate betrayal. His brother, whom he trusted to run the day-to-day operations, turned out to be embezzling money. It was a devastating blow, but it didn't break him. He bounced back, proving that no matter how hard you hit him, he could take it. A slice into an empire. By now, he was a legend in the industry, a pizza pioneer. But how did he turn a simple pizza into an empire? What made Domino's stand out? He didn't sell fancy ingredients, didn't sell gourmet recipes. He sold consistency, speed, and convenience. He understood what people wanted, a hot, tasty pizza delivered fast, and he gave it to them. Domino's wasn't about eating, it was about eating on the go. It was about feeding families without breaking the bank. It was about feeding students, workers, athletes. It was about feeding everyone. This is where his genius truly lay. He didn't try to reinvent the pizza. He reinvented how it was sold, delivered, and perceived. And this led him to the top. The brand that bounced back. Today, Domino's is a household name, synonymous with pizza delivery. But many don't realize that this giant once started in a small store with a big dream. After stepping down, he remained a guiding force behind the brand, pushing for innovation, brutal honesty in marketing, and above all, customer focus. He was a visionary who saw what the customer wanted before they even knew it themselves. He knew that in the digital age, speed and convenience weren't just desirable, they were essential. He embraced technology, making ordering easier and delivery faster. The Domino's of today might seem far removed from the humble beginnings, but its DNA remains the same: customer-focused, technologically advanced, and relentlessly innovative. A legacy baked in grit. This isn't a story that happened in a lab somewhere. This is a story that happened in a tiny pizza store. He was a broke boy who didn't have much going for him except his hunger, both literally and metaphorically. He was hungry for success, and that hunger drove him to work harder, smarter, and longer than anyone else. His story is a testament to the fact that dreams, no matter how big, can be built brick by brick. It doesn't matter where you start, it matters how you finish. So next time you see a Domino's, remember it wasn't built by luck or privilege, but by a broke boy who refused to quit, no matter how bad it got. It was built by grit, determination, and a whole lot of pizza dough.